Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well, and it's time for the world debut of my new card game, Clash Act. I've been working on this game since 2023, but this is the first time I'm doing a play test of the game on camera, so hopefully you guys will enjoy. And with that being said, I've already shuffled both of the decks. I've got the blue deck over on the right, and I've got the red deck on the left. And with that, I'm going to see who goes first. And the way this game is divided up is that both players will be taking offensive and defensive turns. So what I'm rolling here is to determine which of these two players is going to be on offense or starting out. So I think if it's odds, I'm going to let the blue player be on offense first, and it is odds, so they will get to be on offense first. And I will explain how this is all going to go as we go along here. And also, quick disclaimer, none of the cards that I'm using here have art just yet. These are just placeholder cards that I'm using for testing purposes, so keep that in mind. So now that we've determined who's going to go first on offense, I think I'm going to use this little marker here just to show which side has offense. So once we've determined that, we take the top 5 cards of both players will take the top 5 cards of their decks and they will put them off to the side. And these are what's known as the player's stocks, which if a player, anytime a player loses a clash, which is basically the name of the battle phase in this game, the losing player will take one of these, and if they take all 5 of their stocks, they lose the game. So once all the stocks have been drawn, both players will take the top 5 cards of their deck and add them to their opening hand. So the blue player's cards are like that, and as for how a card goes, you got the cost in the corner, the name in the top left, along with the card type. And then if it's a unit, you've got the power of that unit in the bottom right corner here. There's only really 2 card types. You got units, which are your main fighting force, and then you've got your spell cards, which provide certain effects before being discarded. Now let me draw the cards for the red player. That's not the greatest hand, I don't think, but one thing you can do is you can put your current hand on the bottom of your deck and then draw a new hand of 5 cards to start out, but I think I'm going to leave it like that because there is some stuff I can do with it. And with that, it's time to start the game. So how this works is that players will take turns one at a time, playing one card at a time. It starts out with, normally you start out with the draw phase, but because it's the first round, there is no cards to draw. So we proceed to what is called the staging phase, which is also known as the main phase. So this is where both sides can play their cards out. So the blue player is going to go first. The offensive player always starts first in a round. They get to play their cards. So I'm going to take this wing small fry here, and I'm going to put it into my staging area. Now to play a card, all you have to do is take one of the other cards in your hand and you put it in your cost pile. There are actually 2 main forms of discarding in this game. You have your cost pile, which is where cards that are used to pay costs go, and then you have your normal discard pile next to it, which is where cards go when they get destroyed or used up in other ways. So the blue players already made their first move. They played their winged small fry, and now it's time for the red player to make their move. And let's see here. I think the red player is going to pay 2 cost of 2 to play their heavy gunman, which has 70 power, and so now that the defending player has played, now it's back to the offensive player to play their own card. And so what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to play. I think they're going to play a blazing small fry as their action. So we'll discard this exchange. Now once again it's back to the red player's turn. They've run out of cards that they really want to play, so they're just going to pass the turn. And then once both players pass, you move on to the next phase, which is the clashing phase. So what happens is that now that we're in the clashing phase, both players, starting with offense, take any number of their characters which are in the staging area, and they move them up to the arena, which is where the clashing happens. And then the defending player may take a number of their characters from their staging area to try to defend against them. So they can place. So the red player here only has one character they can use to defend with, so they can only really defend against one of these two, but not both. So I think what they're gonna do is put their card in front of the winged small fry to try to defend against it. And so if two cards are clashing, they will do damage to each other equal to their power stats. So the winged small fry here has 40 power, the heavy gunman has 70 power, and so they'll each do damage to each other equal to that power. Winged small fry does 40 damage, leaving the heavy gunman with 30, and then the heavy gunman does 70 to the winged small fry, which knocks out the winged small fry, sending it to the discard pile. And so once characters have all done their clashing, we move on to what's known as the judgment phase, which is we take the characters that are left and analyze their power, the total power among the characters involved, and then whichever side is the higher power wins the clash for that round. And if there's a tie, then the defender wins, because the defender has already done their job in matching what the offensive player has done. So both sides have 30 power, so that results in a tie, which is a win for the defensive player, meaning the offensive player takes one of their cards from their stock area and adds it to their hand, like so. And then we move on to. Now, another thing to note that I haven't mentioned is damage on characters reduces the power being calculated during the judgment step. So you don't get to. So this heavy gunman doesn't apply its full 70 power. It's just the 30 because he already took 40 damage. And then, now that the clash is done, both characters move back to their respective staging areas, and then it's time to begin the next round. So the next player becomes the offensive player. So red becomes offense, and now we get to do a real turn cycle, which begins is with both players drawing 5 cards from the top of their deck. So 3, 4, and 5 for the blue player, and 5 for the red player. So now it's time to show off a couple other things. So I think I'm going to start off by putting a. What do I want to do? I think I'm going to have the red player pay 1 to put a combat medic into play. Now, the combat medic has an ability, but I'll get to abilities when it comes to their turn, because once they've played a card, it now passes to the other player, who now gets their chance to play a card. And this player is in fact going to pay 3 cards, pay 3 for a King Small Fry, which also has a different type of ability, a clash ability, which only activates when it's involved in a clash. There are also on play abilities which activate when the character enters play. And then you have other abilities that require manual activation, which, now that it's passing back to the red player, I'm going to demonstrate. So I'm going to actually use as their action for this go around, they're going to use their combat medic's ability, which states you freeze this unit and then you heal all damage from a unit you control. So freezing just means you turn the card sideways, and then that means it gets you step. A frozen card cannot enter the arena during the clash step, so that's something to keep in mind. But now that I've rested, that I've frozen it, my heavy gunman is now healed, and it's back to 70 power. And now it's back to the blue player's turn, and they're going to pay 2 for a Small Fry Warrior who has 70 power. So they've got a lot of power on their side, but the red player is not quite done yet. They've got some other things they want to do. They're going to spend 2. They're going to spend 3 actually to play General D, a 3-cost 100 power unit who has the ability that when he enters a clash, other soldiers you control in that clash get an extra 10 power. And all the cards in the red deck are soldiers, and the cards in the blue deck are all small fries. And King Small Fry here actually has a similar ability. So now blue player gets to go play another card. They have nothing they want to do, so they'll just pass, and the red player will pass as well. So now we move on to the clash step. The red player is going to send both of his cards onto the field. And now I think the blue player is just going to counter. They can't, and remember, the red player can't send up the combat medic because it's frozen from using its ability. So now the blue player defends by just sending all their characters in. Their King Small Fry goes against General D. Small Fry Warrior goes against the Heavy Gunman, and the Blazing Small Fry just sits in the field. And so these characters end up trading with each other, so they all go to their respective discards. And now on to Judgment. The red player has 0 power on their field, while the blue player has 30 power, so they win this clash, meaning the red player gets to take a stock and put it into their hand. Characters now go back to the staging area, and any frozen characters, now that a new round has started, the frozen characters will return to their normal positions. And so it's back to the blues player on offense, and now both players draw new 5 cards, and a new round begins. So blue players going first. They're going to figure out, and Not a lot of options for them. They're just going to play a spell card, which usually has a one-shot effect that applies before being sent to the discard. They're going to play a small fry swarm, which creates 2 small fry unit tokens, each with 10 power. And for tokens here, I'm just going to use these little paper cutout things I've made to represent them. That's what the small fries actually look like. They're just cute little guys. So now that the blue player's played that, the red player gets a chance to do something. And I think they have a pretty good option here. They are going to spend 2 to play a Pyro Trooper, which has a pretty good ability you'll see here shortly. And now back to the blue player. They're going to spend 2 once again to play a small fry warrior. Now we're on to the red player. They're actually going to use their ability. The Pyro Trooper's ability says you freeze this unit and it does 10 damage to each opposing unit. So he's going to do that. He's going to rest. And so both of these tokens with 10 power are destroyed, as well as, and both the other units take 10 damage apiece, which will lower the power calculation in the judgment step when they go to clash. So blue player's back again. They have no cards. They've got to pass. Red player still has options for what they want to do. They're going to opt to actually play another spell of their own. They're going to play this landmine here, which states at the end of a round, you may sacrifice this spell. If you do, it does 30 damage to target unit. So they're just going to play it like so. It's a field spell, meaning it stays on the field until it gets removed otherwise. So both sides are ready to pass. So starting with the offensive player, they're going to send in their characters. So blue player is going to go ahead and send in both of their guys. Red player only has one guy to really defend with. It's their combat medic, so he's going to go ahead and send him against this blazing small fry, and they're going to damage each other, knocking each other out. And now on to the judgment. Red side has 0 power. Blue side only has 60 power because they took 10 damage from before. Either way, the blue side wins, meaning the red side gets to take another stock. And now, end of turn. Now it's the end of the round, so they're going to actually let their landmine go off. And it's going to do an additional 30 damage. So now characters move back to the staging area and refresh after being frozen. And it's time to draw 5 more cards for the next round. And red player gets to go on offense this time, and they are going to choose to play... They're going to choose to play a Battle Plans. This is a 0 cost normal spell that states draw 2 cards, but on the next draw step, you only draw 3 cards instead of the usual 5. So this can give you some additional resources to really go aggressive on your opponent. So that's their first move. Blue player on defense actually has an interesting card. Some interesting cards to play, but they're going to choose to play a field spell of their own. They're going to play Small Fry Spawning, which states that when they play a small fry from their hand, you create a 10 power small fry unit token. The blue deck has a lot of token generation and about going wide, whereas the red deck is a bit more aggressive with higher powered characters and just having a lot of removal to make sure nothing gets in their way. So back to the red player, they're going to play they're going to spend 3 for a super soldier, which states that this unit cannot be damaged or destroyed by card effects. Very powerful, makes sense why it's a 3-cost character. Back to blue, they're going to go ahead and spend 1 for a shielded small fry who has 50 power, but this unit may only clash if you're on defense. Fortunately, the blue player is on defense, so that's not a problem. Back to red, they're going to spend 3 and put General D back onto the field. Now, blue player passes their turn, but I did forget some. They did play the small fry last turn, meaning they get a token. And they're going to pass as well, and so moving on. Red player chooses who's going to attack. They're just going to send everybody in. They're just going to send the whole team in. Blue player is going to, in fact, send the blue player. How do they want to do this? I think what they want to do is they're gonna actually send their shielded small fry as well as their warrior at the pyro trooper, because as the defender you can send multiple units to block a unit. So now go to the damage, and if there are multiple units blocking, the attacking character gets to choose how damage is distributed. So what they're going to do is they're going to do 30 to this, and they're going to do their pyro trooper is going to do 30 to the small fry warrior, and they're going to do 40 to the shielded small fry. Because the pyro trooper has 70 power because of General D's clash ability, giving all soldiers and other soldiers a plus 10 power. So pyro trooper is going to go down, but the shielded small fry is going to have 10 left. And so on to judgment, the red side has 190 power to the blue side's measly 10. Not good. So the red side wins. Blue side gets another card from their stocks. And then it's going to be the blue player's turn on offense. So draw 5 more. Oh, that's too many. Here we go. So, what is the blue player going to do? I think what the blue player is going to do is, well, here's a good opportunity. They can't really use their shielded small fry to clash. They are on offense, since they are on offense now. So they're just going to play a small fry bash spell card. So what they're going to do is they're going to send a card as cost, and they also freeze a small fry they control, and they get to do 40 damage to a target unit. And so the only real valid unit they have is General D, so they're going to do just that. Now it's the red player's turn. They're going to play... They've got a pretty good option. They're going to pay 2 for a Sniper Man, which has an on-play effect stating this unit does 20 damage to target unit. And they're going to choose to do it to the... They're going to choose to do it to the shielded small fry, taking it out. Back to the blue player. They've got some interesting options, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to spend 1 for small fry bros, and that's going to create a 10 power small fry unit token. They also get an additional unit token from the small fry spawning field spell they've got. Back to the red player. They're going to spend 1 to play an assault trooper. So the red players are really stacking up right now. Blue player doesn't quite have a lot of options right now. So they're just, blue player's going to pass and red player's going to pass. So on to clashing. They're just going to kind of preserve their resources here. They want to keep their stuff on the field. So they're going to send just their small fry bros out to clash this round. Meanwhile, red player is going to use their Sniper Man to defend. So Sniper Man takes 30. Small fry bros takes 50, knocking it out. On to Judgment. No power from the blue player. 20 from the red. So that's a win for the red side. Blue side gets a card. And we're on to the next round. And I think I screwed up. I did screw up a bit, but I think that's going to be all right. I think the red player was supposed to have 3 cards, but I think I'll just apply it this time. So there's 3 here, and then this player gets 5. Sorry about this. This is the first time I've recorded while doing this playtest, so there's might be mistakes, so just keep something in mind. So red player is going to go on offense first. They've already got a lot of characters on the field. So I think what they're going to do, they're actually going to spend 2 for a bombardment, which is going to do 20 damage to each opposing unit, clearing out the blue player's board. Blue player, though, they've got a lot of options on their field to mess with, and they're going to start off by playing battle plans to draw 2 cards. Red player doesn't really have any options they can do, so they're just going to pass. But blue player, they're going to get to do stuff. And they're going to start by playing out a blazing small fry, which on play does 10 damage to a target unit. They're going to do more damage to that General D on the bench. Red's going to pass again, but blue's got some more. Oh, forgot the token again. There we go. They're on defense. They're going to actually spend 1 for a shielded small fry, which is going to bring in yet another token. Pass again from red. Blue's going to play... What do they play? I think what they play... They're going to play They're actually going to play this Frosty Small Fry, which on play gets to freeze a target unit, and it cannot clash. So they're going to choose to freeze this Super Soldier. it's worth noting that the Super Soldier's ability doesn't prevent freezing effects like that, just damage or destruction. So a pass again from red. Blue is checking again to see what... Once again, I forgot the token. Let's check the discard pile here and see if... Because I might play another card here, but... Ooh. They could play this something. Interesting. I think what they're going to do is they're going to spend 2 to play a Small Fry Revival, which lets them return up to 2 Small Fry from their discard pile to their hand. So I think they're going to return another Shielded Small Fry and another Warrior to their hand. Pass again from red. Blue, with that, is going to play another shield, their other Shielded Small Fry out, giving them yet another token. Blue side was able to recover from that one board wipe pretty well. So now we're on to clashing. Red players got some decisions to make. They've got some damaged characters that they really don't want to lose. I think what they're going to do is they're just going to send out their Assault Trooper, kind of take the fall and preserve their other characters for later. The blue character is going to defend with their Shielded Small Fry. Blue character takes 40 damage, and then Shielded Small Fry is going to do 50 to the Assault Trooper, knocking it out. On to Judgment. The blue player has more power, so the red player loses the clash and gets another card from their stocks. So now it's the next round, so we just unfreeze that card. Red player is going to get 5 cards. And I'm not going to forget this time the blue player gets 3 cards because they played Battle Plans the turn prior. So back on offense, they really need something. And I think they just got the thing they need. They're actually going to go ahead and spend 1 for a Frosty Small Fry, which is going to give them another token and allow them to freeze something. So they're going to freeze that Super Soldier right in place. Back to the red player. It's a little cramped here again, but let's see what they do. I think what they're going to do is play... They're going to... They have enough cards on the field. I think they're going to do this. They're going to play out their Elite Trooper, spending 2, which has 50 power, but if you control at least 3 other soldiers, which the red player does, he gets an additional 30. So now, on to the blue player's turn again. They've got some Shielded Small Fries that can't clash, and unfortunately they don't have other cards in their hand, so they're just going to pass. Sorry about that. Again, kind of cramped up in here. Back to the red player. They're going to, in fact, spend 1 for a targeted shot which destroys a unit. So they are going to choose this Blazing Small Fry, which is their highest power guy. Take it out. Blue's going to pass, and it looks like red's going to pass as well, so it's on to clashing. 90. Blue player is going to opt... Looks like I think the blue player is just going to send out 1 of their tokens. Red player on the other hand, is going to let the Sniper Man come in. They're going to do damage to each other. So that puts the Sniper Man down to 10 power left, but that's okay. That's enough for them to win that clash, and they get... Blue player gets another card. So now it's back to the red player's turn on offense, and now both players get 5 more cards. And the blue player's 1 attack away from losing this game. So what do they do? Red player gets to go first. They are going to put down... They're going to spend 1 for a combat medic. As for the blue player, they're going to play out their battle plans. Draw 2 more. Ooh, they got a pretty good card. Let's see what they can do. So, red player, they're actually going to use their combat medic's ability to heal their General D back up to full strength. Now, blue player... They're going to spend 1 on a shielded small fry. So now they've got 3 of them, and they get another token for that. And you're going to see in just a minute where having all of these comes in pretty handy. But as of right now, the red player is going to go next and is going to play yet another combat medic to try and heal their other character. Blue player, on the other hand, is going to spend 2 for a small fry dog pile, which says this spell does 20 damage times the number of small fry you control, divided as you choose among opposing units. Counting all the tokens, that is 10 small fry here. So that's a total of 200 damage they can deal, and that might come in pretty handy. So they're gonna decide how they do it. The super soldier's not gonna really take anything. They are, however, gonna do 100 to the General D. They're going to deal 10 here, so there's 90 left. 20 here. 70, they'll do 50, so they have 50 left, and they're going to do the remaining 50 to the elite trooper. So the blue player just was able to nuke their field, and now that the red player has no characters to control anymore, the elite trooper's gone as well. So all that power that the red player was stocking up on, they no longer have that power anymore. And the red player is going to actually play down their Sniper Man to deal 20 to a Frosty Small Fry, taking it out. Blue player, they've still got cards left. They're going to spend 1 on a Blazing Small Fry to deal 10 damage to another character. So they'll just do it to the Sniper Man. This is the only valid target. I don't think both players are going to pass, so it's on to clashing. And I think red side's going to send both of their characters out. Blue players to defend, they're going to stick 4 of their tokens at the Sniper Man. They're going to do 2 shielded small fry at the super soldier. Super soldier can only really take one of them out, so one of these shielded small fry is going to be left with 30 damage. Both the red player's characters are destroyed, and all these tokens are gone as well. So judgment phase, there. Blue player obviously wins, so red player gets another card. And now we move on to the final round. So red player gets 5 cards, blue player gets 3 cards, and we're already at the end of both players' decks. So what are they going to do? Offense goes first, and they're just going to spend 3 for a king small fry, get it out there, so they get another token. Blue player is going to spend 2 for a bombardment to try to do as much damage as they can. So the tokens are out. This frosty small fry is out. Both shielded small fries are out, and their blazing small fry has 10 damage on it left. So they were able to clear out the board, but will it be enough? Blue side has no cards left, so they just pass. Red side doesn't really have a whole lot they can do, unfortunately. So they're just going to play out what they can. They're going to play this recon trooper. And so that's enough to pass. And so on to clashing. They're just going to send the big king small fry out. Red player's going to use their recon trooper. It's obviously destroyed. King has 20 damage on it, and that is a win for the blue team. Red player has taken all of their stocks, so blue player wins this test game. Very good back and forth game, I think there was a lot of good clutch plays in there, and that about does it for this playtest. Thank you for watching. Send me a like if you like this, and comment below what you enjoy about this playtest or any kind of suggestions you think would to improve the rules. I've already thought of some ideas to improve upon these rules, which I might go over in another video, but I hope to show more playtests of this game in the future. But until then, I will see you guys next time, and take care.